Hello everybody and welcome back to another not applicable Formula 1 video. I hope that you are well. Today I'm going to be channeling my inner Tomo because I want to talk about one of the many Red Bull drivers that is going to be on the grid next season. By the way, Red Bull have 8 drivers on the grid next season: Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Ricciardo, Gasly, Tsunoda, Vettel, and of course the man I want to talk about today, Alex Albon, is coming back onto the grid next year. And I want to know what you guys think. What does Alex Albon have to do to achieve that Formula 1 status for the next few years and to prove that he is worthy of being in Formula 1? Because let's be honest, he's coming back into a season that is going to be up and down for a lot of drivers, and we haven't seen him on the Formula 1 grid in a year, and that's quite a big time out considering he only came through 3 years ago. He came through at the same time as Lando Norris and George Russell, and that is a hell of a triplet to come through with, because Lando Norris has been by far and away, in my opinion, the best driver on the grid this season, and I'd say George Russell's probably been in the top 3 or 4 as well. They have absolutely taken on this third year in their Formula 1 careers and jumped to an absolute new high. Can Albon do the same in what will technically be his third year in Formula 1, although he's had a year in the middle there where he wasn't able to do it? You know, I would argue that Alex Albon probably has the most experience of those 3 at the tip top of the grid. I know George Russell had 1 race for Mercedes, and I know that Lando Norris has been in and amongst the podiums and getting that opportunity to win races over the course of this season, but Alex Albon in his 2 years managed to get a really big chunk of experience at the front of the grid. For those of you that don't remember, he came into Formula 1 through Toro Rosso 3 years ago, now AlphaTauri, and only 12 races later he took the seat of Pierre Gasly in Spa. It was sort of a bit of a tumultuous period for Red Bull. They were trying to find somebody to favour Verstappen. You know, they're probably still trying to find someone to favour Verstappen as well. I know Sergio Perez is confirmed for next year, but he didn't have the best start to this season either. And after a solid season, 9 races with Red Bull, he managed to only finish below 6th once. So he did pretty good considering he was taking that step up in the middle of the season to Red Bull and managed to finish, I think, in the end of the season, 8th place in the World Drivers' Championship. So all in all, I was very impressed with Albon's rookie season, considering he had to take that step from Toro Rosso at the time to Red Bull, replacing Gasly and going into that second seat with Verstappen. And we know that that second seat with Verstappen is just cursed. Like, it just is. In 2020, he had a full season at Red Bull, achieving 2 podium finishes and a 7th place in the World Drivers' Championship. So increased his positioning in the World Drivers' Championship by just 1 place. But it was a tough couple of years. As I said, that second seat at Red Bull comes with so much pressure, and you have to almost try and be as good as Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. That was sort of the level that Red Bull was setting for their second driver, which is absolutely insane because Max Verstappen has been at that team and everything circulates around him, and being the second driver there is so tough. And he had a few collisions with Hamilton. He missed out on a few wins and a few podiums here or there due to unlucky circumstances, and Red Bull dropped him. And as I said, it was a little bit harsh, in my opinion, for Red Bull to just go on and drop him. I thought he did pretty well overall in his couple of years with Red Bull, but the biggest surprise for me was that they didn't drop him down to AlphaTauri. Instead, they went with Yuki Tsunoda. They brought Yuki Tsunoda into the Formula 1 sport. And Alex Albon had to, you know, go and drive in DTM with Liam Lawson. He's looked decent, picked up a win at the Nürburgring, but I'll be honest, I haven't watched too much of the DTM season, and it doesn't look like Alex Albon is, you know, absolutely storming through DTM, because he has still been in and around the Formula 1 grid quite often. He's done lots of practice for Red Bull, which I think will help him next year, but we'll get into that in a moment. Overall though, that Formula 1 experience that Albon has at the moment will do him really well when he is moving to Williams next year, and obviously taking the seat of George Russell, the person he came through with as a rookie. So it'll be very interesting to see. And I think personally, this is a really positive move for Williams. You know, he's going to go into Williams alongside Nicholas Latifi next season. I think it's the perfect time for him to come back into Formula One. There's going to be so much change and so many different things happening on the grid. Like, we have no idea where Williams are going to be next year. They could be somewhere completely different to where they are this year. At the beginning of this year, if you'd have told me Williams were going to get 23 points by this point, I'd have thought you were crazy. But they've managed to do it. So we have no idea where Williams might be next year. He's experienced in Formula One, but not so much that he won't be able to be moulded to this new set of circumstances. He's coming into a season with lots of unknowns, 2022 regulations, and also has experience in the Red Bull 2022 car. You know, he's done a lot of testing for the 2022 Red Bull car. That might put him in really good stead coming into this new style of car when he's already had an idea of the Red Bull version of that 2022 car. And of course, he still has those links to Red Bull. In a similar way to George Russell having those links to Mercedes, having links to one of the bigger teams and having, you know, the opportunity to talk to those drivers, you know, he's still going to be in contact with Christian Horner, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez. He's going to be able to talk to those guys openly and honestly because he's still part of that Red Bull family. I think the only problems he might come across is that Williams and Mercedes are actually going to be working closer together next year. So it seems like being a Red Bull driver might actually be a little bit of a negative there, especially because Mercedes, I imagine, won't want to, you know, give him too much information on their car if he's going to then give that information back to Red Bull. So it's going to be a bit of a weird one, because Red Bull won't want to give Alex Albon too much information about them because he's working with Mercedes through Williams, but Mercedes won't want to give too much information to Alex Albon because he's a Red Bull driver and could go on to be a Red Bull driver in the future. We don't know who's going to replace Sergio Perez when he moves on, so it's a very awkward situation that Albon finds himself in at Williams. But as I said, with lots of new changes coming in 2022 and that experience that he has, he's in for a good season, I think, but it's very much dependent on what other people class as success. And that's what I want to talk about mostly today, is what does Alex Albon have to achieve to be deemed as successful in Williams? Because let's be honest, he's coming through at a time where George Russell has been absolutely phenomenal for Williams over the past couple of seasons. And he came through the same rookie season as George Russell. So everybody is going to be comparing Alex Albon to George Russell. I think that is just going to be the case. You know, Alex Albon needs to understand that he is taking the seat of George Russell. George Russell has been phenomenal, and therefore people are expecting Alex Albon to sort of carry that torch and continue to be as good, if not better, than George Russell in a Williams. And that is going to be really, really tricky for him to do. I mean, they came through at the same time, which I said, but Alex Albon has had a year out of Formula One and hasn't been in the Williams team for as long a time as George Russell has been by this course in the season. And the thing is, Williams consistently have given George Russell everything he needs to get the most out of that car. I think, you know, when we look at the Williams team, yes, Latifi has been there, but I think realistically Williams have given as much to George Russell as they possibly can to let him get the most out of that car. Will that be the same with Albon in a Williams? I'm not so sure. So Albon needs to basically see George Russell as the goalpost, see George Russell as that target that he needs to reach next season. You know, can he consistently beat Latifi in qualifying and in races and show good pace on a Saturday and a Sunday when he gets the opportunity to be in a midfield fight? Can he mix it with those guys? You know, we've seen George Russell mixing it with the Alpines, the Aston Martins, the Alpha Tauris even this season, and being fairly consistent with his driving in that midfield. Can Albon do the same in a Williams? Of course, we're talking about this man here as well. Latifi is going to be at Williams still. Latifi is sort of, again, another benchmark for Alex Albon to hit. We've seen that George Russell continually just beats Latifi. Like, it's become a little bit silly comparing those two together because George Russell is just in another league. And people are going to be expecting the same from Alex Albon. Can he, you know, continually beat Latifi? But I don't think Latifi is going to be as easy to beat as everybody thinks. He's taken steps forwards this year. Like, Latifi hasn't been vintage, don't get me wrong, but he has been very good. And I don't think we can underestimate the fact that he has been at the team for longer than Alex Albon. He's going to have experience with everything like behind the scenes. He's also going to have seen a lot more of the 2022 Williams car than Albon has. I know that Albon has driven a 2022 car in the Red Bull testings, but Latifi will have seen lots more of the behind the scenes of the Williams 2022 2 car. So there's a little bit of a balance there. Latifi's managed to get points this season. You know, he's got through to Q3 in Spa in particular. And yes, George Russell got second in Spa, but Latifi was still in Q3. And I think that that is a good sort of benchmark for him to set himself for next season as well. So I don't think it's going to be as easy for Alex Albon to beat Latifi as people are expecting, although they have been teammates before, we have to remember, when they were at Dams in F2 in 2018. And in 2018, Albon absolutely wiped the floor with Latifi. So again, there's sort of that balance. You'd expect, because of the past and when they've been teammates before, Latifi only finished third with 4 wins. Alex Albon finished third with 4 wins, and Latifi only managed to finish 9th in that season. So you'd imagine that, you know, Albon will continue to be the better of the 2 drivers, but it's very different to 2018. It's 4 years down the line. It's going to be very, very interesting to see these 2 together, you know. On that basis, you'd imagine Albon should come out on top, but Latifi's had more experience, but Albon has connections with bigger teams, but Latifi's been at Williams for longer, and therefore it's all going to come together. It's all going to come to a head, and it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. You know, these 2 fighting in that 2022 Williams car is going to be exceptional. I am so excited for the 2022 season, and I think that Williams are poised to be very interesting indeed. 2 drivers in their 3rd year of Formula 1, new regulations, anything could happen. Williams are definitely one of the teams to watch next year, just for this story between Latifi and Albon, and to see how that goes and whether Albon can achieve what we're expecting him to achieve in that Williams car. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think success is for Alex Albon next year? What does he need to achieve next year to guarantee himself a Formula 1 seat in the future and possibly put himself in contention for that Red Bull seat if Sergio Perez is moved on? Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. We've obviously got the Mexican Grand Prix coming up very, very soon too. So subscribe so you know when we go live for that. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.